Previously.
1, 2, 3.
X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show.
Is it? Welcome to X Debated, the X-Men animated debate show. We are your hosts, Davin and Andre. Andre the Accuser. What did I say my name was tonight? Skilverine. That's the old default. Where did Andre the Accuser come from?
Ronan the Accuser. He was on this show. He's on X-Men X-Men.
Oh,
In X-Men 97. He was in
He
there's a big fight in the Kree Skull War going on there.
Yep. Right. And, of course, Jaemeel. I'm not even really a guest tonight, but like a third host.
I didn't particularly come up with a nifty little name. I just put a lot of
Your
effort into the
subtitle's real
tagline.
good. Yeah. Dupe's hairstylist. So, a lot of work to be done there, or too much work had been done.
You probably have to shave whatever that's going on up there. There's a lot of bumps that be hard to shave.
So
Sorry,
I've been looking forward.
Isn't that good?
I've been looking forward to this episode. This is my favorite show I do over on the Star Trek channel. A version of it here. Debate 9, I call it over there. Tonight we're X-Debated, of course. But this is my favorite little debate show, and I'm looking forward to debating you guys. Says the judges are also the debaters in this game. The rules are convoluted as hell. If it's a three-way tie, we do got Murphy standing by, so we got.
Oh, thank God! Yeah. Thank God we got the semblance, the bastion of sanity that is Murphy on standby.
Yeah, exactly right.
With his guests.
Yes, with his guests. Yes, he's entertaining tonight.
Yes. Oh, we'll see.
Yes. All right, so I'll go first, I guess, here. So we have 30-second opening statements and then a 1 minute free-for-all.
You should tell them what the first debate is.
Oh, I will. I was just explaining the rules there.
I see.
The rules, basically. No real prior preparation at all. We've seen the questions like yesterday, but we don't know which side we're debating on, so there's no prep.
And we likely haven't had time to do too much.
No.
I did prepare it all.
Me
okay,
neither.
Good. I didn't either. We're all on the same level. Good.
Yeah. This is off the cuff debating.
I was really worried. I'm like, Jameel's going to come with a book with like little when you have all the annotations with the paper in it. And I was like, oh God, no.
On page 14.
Of Stan Lee's original script to X-Men number 17. I was like, oh Jesus.
All right.
So you're going to tell us the debate, and you're going to make me and Jaemeel debate.
Yeah, exactly right. And then I will choose who's exactly. And 4 always debates goes first on this.
And whether we agree with it or not, we have to debate.
Doesn't matter.
Absolutely right. You have to pretend you do agree with it. All right. So be it resolved, the Grant Morrison run on New X-Men is the best run of X-Men comics since Chris Claremont. Now, normally when the sides are obvious on a question, I like to flip it on Debate 9 for the comedy's sake. But for this one, I'm not, because Jaemeel...
I think you should.
I'm not, because Jaemeel didn't get to make it to the episode and never got to say his piece in this regard. So on this one, I'm skipping the comedy, maybe not. But we're going to see how the chips lay on this one. So
maybe it's just been a gigantic facade and I actually do like Morrison's run.
Maybe. We'll see.
Our plan has finally come to fruition. It took a year.
So, Andre, you are 4. 4 goes first. Your 30 seconds starts now.
All right. Well, Grant Morrison is by far one of the most definitive creators in comics and has brought a lot of innovative ideas. What he did is brought the X-Men into the modern era with X-Men, with his run on X-Men. So at that point, he brought in things connected to 9/11. He brought in things connected to what was going on in the world with the drug issues, with the kick drug. He brought in all the issues with, all the normal stuff that comes with X-Men, but he really made it relevant and interesting for the modern era. Really updating X-Men and making it fit within the comics, the world that it was fitting in with the movies. Whether you like the movies or not, that's fine. But taking the concept
that was your 30 seconds.
All right.
Okay, it didn't really. I didn't really hear an ending of the 30 seconds, so
that's fine.
Yeah,
you didn't hear that?
No.
Oh
I heard the
no!
initial thing, but I guess against.
I heard it.
You
All
can
right.
just make the noise. You can just tell us when we're done if you want. That's fine.
Whack.
Well,
Just go. Whack.
I hear it. So
Do you have a duck or something you could just just hold and then have a quack when the time's done?
can you guys hear this?
Barely.
You're
Oh, so
matering
it's
it
all
right
very
now.
Quiet.
I can
It's all
only
very
hear
quiet.
speckles of it.
Yeah, you hear like the beginning and the end, and then it just kind of.
Oh, I know what's happening. Why do you do this to me, StreamYard?
You're matering it.
Your Mater
Hold
is
on.
Mater a verb now?
I'm about to fix it.
Oh,
Okay, I've just fixed the problem.
excellent.
So now, can you hear this?
Is it starting?
Where's my beetle snap?
Absolutely.
Much better?
Yep.
Is
There
it
you
your
go.
noise reduction thing that you have problems with?
Yes, it always gets put back on if I don't go back in and click
It must
on
be a
it.
save default setting in there or something.
It's StreamYard often resets settings. I don't know why, especially when the show is a recurring occurrence. Doesn't make any sense to me.
No, me neither. So, Jaemeel, your rebuttal starts now.
Okay. I absolutely disagree. Morrison's run, although beloved, I felt was more detrimental to the X-Men as a whole, making it into a monotonous entity as opposed to a diverse storytelling that was being provided slightly up to that. I thought a lot of the elements were already being done in other books, and all he really did in what you talked about. I'll wait for the opening, the open debate. I heard it, so I stopped.
Good starts there. Andre, you made like the best case I've heard for Morrison, that's for sure. And Jaemeel, also a great case. It's going to depend on the open debate on this one.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Let's go.
I can yell louder.
We're not yelling, guys.
Go ahead, finish your
We're
point.
gentlemen. We're
Finish your
gentlemen.
point. Finish your point.
Yes. Where was I?
Hold on, I'm starting the timer
No,
over.
no.
There we go.
Hold on a second. Right.
Other comments.
Monotonous. I talked about monotonous. I talked about how elements were being done, diverse. I think we could just jump into open from there,
Sure, okay.
back and forth, because
So-
I already brought up a couple elements you can already rebuttal.
Well, I think it's great to show how great the X-Men run was, because was running alongside it was the Chuck Austin run, which is like maligned by almost everybody in the comic industry.
Absolutely so. Absolutely
I
so.
can agree on that, but
Yes.
I mean, he brought new, like the Emma Frost that we all know and love was not the Emma, like the one we know is the one that Grant Morrison gave us. She was
I disagree.
Oh, really?
That Emma Frost was well established in Generation X. So I thought he just took elements from Generation X and you could say that he brought it more to the forefront, but all the scheming, the
Diamond powers
sexuality,
he added, which was cool.
sorry, the secondary
Diamond powers he
mutation.
added, and the relationship with Cyclops. But the reason
It's the Banshee.
he wanted to include Colossus in the book, but Marvel would not let him. So he gave Emma Frost the Diamond powers to have a character like Colossus that could harden up, which I think is kind of unique. He took a character that was like middling
The
in the
ability
comics.
that Husk has.
Oh yeah, she does harden.
Judges can call for 30 seconds more open debate
Sorry,
if they haven't
we
made up
did-
their mind, and I'm doing that right now.
Oh shit.
Keep going. 30 seconds more.
I felt the strength of X-Men was the different aspects of the books, kind of showing the diverse nature of it. You have the superhero team, you have the young mutant team, you have the star team, or the in the public image team. And we did kind of see it in Morrison's era. Thankfully, there was X-Force Ecstatic, which I was able to jump onto, which I think was a much better run, which talked about celebrity.
Damn it! I get
Go keep going, Andre, because you took that whole
all
thing.
I was going to let him finish. All I was going to say was that it showed real ramifications to the Marvel universe for the X-Men in the fight they were having. I mean, and things within that run are still reminiscent in the Marvel universe today. I mean, we saw Genosha in X-Men '97. We saw Cassandra Nova show up in Deadpool versus Wolverine. But showing the destruction of Genosha and how decimated the mutants were in the Marvel universe really gave them more of their backs against the wall when it came to fighting against the bigger world in general.
I gotta give the point to Andre, and I'll tell
I
you
know
why.
you
It's
would.
because Well,
This
I almost
would be
thought
a
you weren't going to
longer
give the
debate.
alternative because it was like which run was better.
Which run was better?
And
Well,
the only one you mentioned was Ecstatics there at the end, but you didn't
Claire-
really give a lot of reasons why that one was better. So in this
would've-
debate, I agree with you, Jaemeel, but I got to give the point to Andre.
I didn't get into detail. Andre, you
Yeah.
did provide more details in your argument.
Yeah, very
It's-
convincing on. He
It's
loves
mostly
that run.
just because I love that run so much.
You do love that
Truly
run.
does.
But
Truly does.
but Claremont's run, like you can't deny. I mean, that run made like Morrison ran or Claremont
Casey
watched
Jet.
Morrison
Claremont ran
run.
so Morrison could fly.
Yeah,
That's what it's supposed to
basically.
say?
Yeah, like we wouldn't have what we had with them if it wasn't for what Claremont had done.
I don't know.
Daniel's
Like,
excited.
after Claremont's run, there's a couple of runs I did enjoy.
Wheaton's run was interesting. I mean, that came after Morrison.
That came
It was
after Morrison, but I'm talking. I'm talking about like even the was it the Chris Bichello, Scott Lobdell run,
Oh, yeah.
right? That led into Generation X, which
Yep.
I will say I didn't think I was going to care about another X books until
That's what
that
Serenity's saying here.
Yeah,
Serenity
No,
says Lobdell and Jim Lee.
Yeah. Although Jim
yeah.
Lee was off and on with especially with X-Men 1, kind of he kind of jumped off and Claremont was still kind of there, which
So many good runs.
Before
Yeah.
it went,
Like
before
I know he's out of favor, but I love Astonishing X-Men.
before it really went off the rails, I liked Ultimate X-Men. Like the first few runs of it, I thought were pretty great. Before like the Brian K. Vaughan run, I really liked actually when he took over. That was a fun
Did he take over Ultimate X-Men? I missed
for a
that.
while, for like two runs, two or three arcs, I think.
I'm not a fan of Ultimate in general.
no, I get it.
Me neither.
I like this. I thought Ultimate Spider-Man was great, and Ultimate X-Men was
Well, lots of great stuff
Yeah.
came from that. Yeah.
Bendis, I have a love-hate relation. You know what?
Me too.
I don't like Bendis'
Daredevil was
superhero
great.
work.
me too.
His Daredevil
His
was great.
superhero work, his vigilante work. So Daredevil,
Yeah.
I count as vigilante, but his superhero stuff, not a fan.
You don't like Powers?
Not really.
Really? I love Powers.
I know.
It's all right.
Well, we got more debates to have tonight. So
Yeah.
What's better, Powers
Andre.
or all right?
yours is up next. So
Ooh.
My first one of the
there you
three
go.
I said.
Yep. Yep. Oh
me
wait,
find
that's mine. Never mind. Well, that'll come up later. So your first one you sent. Yep, right here.
All right, let me find it.
Well, I got it right here. It's at the
Oh,
bottom of
yeah.
the screen scrolling.
Oh, is it? Okay. Be it resolved that Wolverine should give up pining for Jean Grey.
Ooh.
Jaemeel, I feel like you are probably more aligned with me on this. So I'm going to let you do the pro. So you want him to just give up on
Are
Jean
you
Grey.
sure about what
Davin, it's the wording
Okay.
is weird.
Okay.
Davin, you need to say that Wolverine needs to keep holding that, keep carrying that flame for
Keep
Jean
carrying
Grey.
that torch, man.
Keep
All
carrying
right,
that
you're
torch
up
because it
first
might
then,
come
Jaemeel.
home.
All right.
Wolverine is a
Wheels up.
character that has. Oh, sorry. Wolverine's a character that has been alive for a long period of time, has a very long history. There's been various loves throughout Wolverine's life, but the crutch that a lot of these writers have to have Wolverine as pining over Jean Grey really has been detrimental to the character and has constantly kept him in this kind of limbo where they basically kept him in a box relationship wise so they can focus on other.
Yep, that's a good point. All right, Davo.
Does Wolverine not deserve happiness? We know from Wolverine Origins that he only is really attracted to redheads. And when you're Wolverine, you've lost so many people in your life that he needs to find a redhead who can defend herself. And who better than the Phoenix herself? If she dies for dating Wolverine, she can come back. He found the perfect redhead for Wolverine. And you want him to bury that torch? Shame, sirs. Shame.
Okay,
I-
open
I-
debate.
All right, open debate.
All right.
I'm excited for this one. This is good.
Come on,
You say
Jaemeel.
yourself, does not Wolverine deserve happiness? And
Yes.
pining over an involved woman is not a good. You do not want to be the third wheel. The third wheel does not often end up happy, right?
Weren't we
And
just talking
happiness-
about Emma Frost in Cyclops over on the Morrison run there? That
Yes,
wheel
and
fell
how
off,
bad it
my
was,
friend.
and she should
That
have
wheel
been with-
fell off.
She should have been with Banshee. What? He should have been with Banshee.
Oh,
They
Emma.
killed him
Yeah.
off. They
Okay.
killed him off, and now they have
But
him with Tony.
that wheel was off. It's Wolverine, and she never gave up her love for him. Like
Wolverine can
they
have
love each
other
other.
loves.
Let
He
them be
doesn't need
happy.
to just love one person. He has an extremely long lifespan. He does not need to be stuck in the same place. He's been in this.
He's not
this
gonna
loop.
find a 200-year-old lady to date. Jimmy.
Oh, there's tons of old women, right? Why
There's
is he
like
hook up with
Mystique.
Medusa? Why is he hook up with
Medusa.
Medusa?
Because Johnny Storm's already kind of doing that.
Johnny Storm's a pup. Come on, he'll flame out.
Oh, very nice. I'm gonna give it to Jaemeel. Wolverine has been pining for Jean Grey for the better part of 80
Too
years
long.
now. It's like
Too
80 years
long.
in the comics.
Let's get on Wolverine and Storm. Like let's see.
I like that relationship better, to be honest.
Fully
Yeah.
commit to these things.
It's my two favorite characters. They put Wolverine and Storm together. I was like,
I didn't want to bring it up in a debate because that would be like punching below the belt.
that would be.
I always thought it was funny too because like there was
Gentleman's debate.
There was like I think what one was it where it seemed like there was not something but this little flirtation between him and Jubilee, and then we talked about
What?
no, like in some comic or something we read a while ago. What was it?
I don't think that's true, and I'm
Maybe I'm
gonna
thinking of
not
something
talk
else.
about that anymore
Vampire
in case it
Blade?
is.
What's the
Hope it
difference? He'd be 150 years older than her, like 200 years. Like what an age difference! What a monster! It's like so he would be like say he's 170 years older than her, so he'd be 180 years old or 60 years older than Jean Grey. That's
Twilight-esque.
I-
Wolverine
think
alone. Wolverine alone. I would love to see Wolverine in a She-Hulk-esque book where he tries to find himself. He moves away.
He pray love.
Goes to-
goes
yeah.
across to you. I'd like to see him.
that.
I'd like to see him in a highly publicized, long-lasting relationship with someone like Captain Marvel or someone that's like a big female character in the Marvel universe that's not an
Sue Storm.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I mean, she's married too, but he only has a thing for taking women. It's like he just it's like, all right, it's like, all right, I'm not going to Jean Grey. I'm going to go to Mary Jane. She's only married.
Oh, Mary Jane. That's a very good example. That would put him in, that whole Pete Wolverine.
Redhead.
Well, you said he also goes after redheads. I mean, Yukio and Mariko and all these other people that weren't redheads. They weren't even, but I do thought it was really dumb in Origins that like his love interest looks exactly like Jean Grey.
Yeah.
It's just
Come on.
There's a lot of things in Origins that are questionable.
I like the story overall. I just really don't like
Me
the
too.
dog exists. I
The
just
dog
wish,
thing,
dog is dumb. Dog should have just been
and even the
saber
Rose
tooth.
thing. It's like that's a bit on the nose.
I forgot
But
her
anyway,
name was Rose, which of course she is
Yeah.
because she's a redhead.
yeah. All right, Jaemeel, you're up.
All right. Beat resolved. Mutants, mutates, and Inhumans should be aligned and working together. Andre 4,
Perfect.
Davin
Davin
against.
All right.
All right, let's go.
We had this issue when Davin and I were trying to figure out the top 10 mutants on the show, where I would name like Phantom X. He'd be like, that's a mutate. And I'd name Deadpool, and he's like, that's a mutate. And I would be like, okay, well, look, they're treated the same way by society at large. I don't understand why in the Marvel Universe, superheroes like Captain America and all these people that got their powers through a needle or some other accident are fine. But because they're born with powers, everyone hates them. The Inhumans, the mutates who are given powers that didn't ask for it in most cases, and the mutants, they all work together to stop this bigotry. Thank you.
David?
Even if I were to grant you mutates, which I won't, because really the only one we know of are Mr. Sinister and Deadpool, and you don't really want to align yourself with
Phantom
either of
X.
those two. No, he's like a Weapon X sub-sentinel sort of thing. Anyway,
Okay.
and are we really going to align the X-Men, all of mutants, like this huge section of humanity, with a monarchy? You want them to work with the Inhumans. You want to take us back to the days of monarchy. That's what we're doing here, and that's worse than a human monarchy. They're inhuman.
Andre? Oh, sorry. Open debates?
Open debates.
Yes.
A monarchy.
I'm pretty sure the Inhuman monarchy is doing a lot better for their people than our monarchy or even our governments are probably doing for us right now. They got the
Debatable.
safety on the moon. They're like,
But-
we're going to
but
make
do you
guys
think
safe.
they-
We're going to move you to the fucking moon? Like, you're on the
What
moon
are
now.
their
No one's
what
gonna
are
hurt
their
you.
goals even? Like, what are we aligning
live
with here?
in
What do the
peace and
Inhumans
not
even
be-
want?
To live in peace and not be bothered by humanity. They moved to the fucking moon to get away from humans.
So is like the headmaster of the Xavier School like Lockjaw now? Like, how does that work when you're under a monarchy?
In John Byrne's very famous Thing run, the Thing runs into a kid that is a mutant. I think he's a mutant, or he's some kind of malformed monster, and the whole town turns against him. And at the end of it, the Thing sends him with Lockjaw to the moon, so he can live safely and unjudged and unharmed by humans on the moon.
Not even all mutants' goals are aligned, and you want them to align with more people who are even more disparate than themselves.
He looks at the people that treated this kid like garbage the entire time, and then says to someone else, "There are no monsters on the moon," because he knows he'll be accepted there, and the humans are the monsters.
I would like 30 more seconds. Davin, please your retort.
Good.
I just can't get past the monarchy thing. I don't think you want to sign up a huge section of humanity with the goals of, like, because it's not like they're gonna fall in line with the goals of mutants. Like, this crazy monarchy that thinks they're better than you. That's the thing about the Inhumans. They think they're better than you. The royal family does.
Okay, but just because they're a royal family doesn't mean that they don't make democratic decisions. I mean, we have a monarchy in the world, but they don't make all the decisions for England.
But you're signing up to that. You are signing up to them.
Figureheads.
Okay. I have to put my feelings aside in this debate, and I will award the point to Andre. I thought it was well debated.
That was fun. That was a good one.
Davin, just because the royal family exists doesn't necessarily mean that all Inhumans subscribe to the royal family, though.
But they do, pretty much.
They probably have
like
to.
Even Miss Marvel, as soon as she found out
really
she was an Inhuman, she's just like, sweet, cool, kings and queens and shit.
Yeah, but in Inhumans versus X-Men, that whole debacle of a storyline, it was Kamala and a group of Inhumans that kind of, saved the day, because both sides were wrong, practically. More the X-Men, but both sides.
There's no one alive who... She's happy with anyone we want to put Wolverine with here, Serenity. Jameela's Dupe's hairstylist, 5 cool points. Oh.
What? Yes.
I'm already behind. We can't give him 5 more points right now.
I do like that debate, and I think that's... I think, to me, that is the future that Marvel should be pushing, because... this whole X-Men Inhumans thing is pointless.
Yeah, well,
the Inhumans are pointless.
The Inhumans were something different. They were like offshoots of they're kind of like the Eternals. They were like connected to all that stuff. Yeah. But then they just made them more like mutants when they were having some kind of a legal battle over the use of X-Men and wanted to make X-Men but not X-Men. So they leaned on the Inhumans.
So I'd rather them be farther away from mutants, not closer.
I just think they should just be blended in.
Yeah, they're all people that are treated badly by humans.
Who trains the Inhumans?
Yeah,
nobody, because they suck.
They're the same as the X-Men. They just literally, one day suddenly discover they have powers and then have to deal with it. Like they're the exact same.
Yeah, it's just dumb that you have like Spider-Man has taught for the Jean Grey School of Gifted Youngsters.
Yeah, it's a great story. I got it up on the
wall. Is Spider-Man a mutate?
Yeah, no, he's. Well,
he's a mutate. He's a human mutate.
Yeah, okay, he's a mutate.
So Captain America's a human mutate. Any superhero is a human mutate. That's from
well, Iron Man isn't a mutate.
Okay, fair enough. But like anybody with powers.
Hawkeye's not.
Blade isn't.
Exactly. If they're if they were mutated somehow.
Thor's a god. But the Hulk would be a mutate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just saying that when you have humanity who is the end game of humanity fighting against mutants is eventually they'll come from mutates in humans as well. It doesn't make any sense that they separate themselves at an
and then
earlier
they came
juncture.
for me.
I was just about to say that, and when they came for the mutates, I said nothing.
The entire history, every single future that we see, it happens, right? The mutants fall, and then you just see the Avengers on the wayside. Same thing, stomped by Sentinels.
Yeah,
Karnak and Gorgon train in humans. Yeah,
that's true. I like Karnak actually. He was that.
Yeah, he's my favorite.
That Warren Ellis run where he had his miniseries with Karnak was really cool.
Yeah. All right, let's move on.
Sorry.
So back up. Be it resolved, Cyclops is the best leader of any team of mutants. That's how I'm wording that now. I'm going to flip this one around. Oh, Jaemeel, you're going to be for this one.
Oh, no. Okay. No, I like Cyclops. That's
You
all right.
love
That's all right. I got it.
Cyclops?
I got it. I got it. No, that's good.
And
Let's do it. No, it's
Andre
true.
will
It's-
be against. So
I can
30
do
seconds,
this.
Jaemeel, to you.
When you're talking about someone who is a leader, you want them to be very involved, be like a symbiotic relationship with the team, with the ideals, and no other X-Men holds that distinction as much as Cyclops, right? They refer to him often as the first X-Man, and he's constantly brought back over and over again. His overarching story is him growing as a leader throughout the different.
No, finish your sentence. Finish your sentence.
I'm sorry, I got the trivial debates in me.
Yeah, we finished our sentences here.
Throughout the different eras, right? I'll just end it there.
All right.
All right. Rebuttal.
All right. What does a good leader got to do? They got to keep it together when the chips are down. What does Cyclops do almost every time? Fall apart. All right. So he gets sent to the future. What does he do? He impregnates a different woman almost immediately. Him and Jean Grey have some problems. He runs off and has an affair with the former enemy of the X-Men, Emma Frost. He gets in a little fight over the Phoenix is coming back to Earth. What he immediately do is start a war with the Avengers over it. And he kills Charles Xavier when Xavier tries to stop him from doing it.
Okay, open debate.
To be fair, more than just Cyclops should kill Charles Xavier. The dude is wretched. Okay, to quote Kitty Pryde, Charles Xavier's a jerk. Right? And that's Kitty Pryde.
But I mean, it seems like and then he gets in. He's always worried about Wolverine. He's always hung up on even X-Men
because
97,
Wolverine is someone who should be worried about.
He immediately runs off and has a secret emotional affair, at least with Madeline Pryor. Every time.
So he doesn't. He doesn't fall apart in front of the team. I agree.
So what? Because he's mainlining heroin in the closet because he doesn't want anyone to see him have to go through the stress. That means it okay?
Yes, because he makes sure that he maintains the positive image throughout the time. Right? He is someone who constantly grows. Right? Constantly grows throughout the eras.
But not necessarily for the better. I mean, I always thought he was Captain America, the Avengers, but he's the one that makes the wrong.
Sometimes you take a step back to step forward.
I do need 30 seconds more, but Andre, who's better?
Ooh, you never mentioned that.
Storm's a fantastic. She's already the leader of the Golden Squadron. She's a fantastic leader.
Who is also fall apart as well. She's fallen apart and stepped away from the team.
Watch yourself, Jaemeel.
Only because she lost her powers.
Only because she lost her powers. Only her powers. She didn't have a loved one die in front of her.
And come back many, 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 many times.
The emotional stress Cyclops has been through, and he still is there. Thank you for proving a good point for me. Thank you.
Cyclops quickly becomes a terrorist whenever the chips are down, and
sometimes the X-Men are terrorists.
Yeah, well, with him lately, it's
10 more minutes of this one. Oh god!
He's like, we need an island nation. I'll kill everyone to stop this from happening. Like every time.
It's not like he's the only one who's come up with that. Magneto came up with that idea.
Yeah,
right?
But he's supposed to be the voice of reason. He's supposed to be the good leader that's leading them in the right direction. Not the
maybe
one
it is.
You know what? Magneto was right. Fuck these humans. Let's go live on an island.
Was Magneto not right? Was Magneto not right?
I mean,
he's not right all the time. Neither is Cyclops. Assuming that a leader is infallible is a fallacy in itself.
Yes, but also an extremist leader that's willing to kill people to get to the point of whatever their weird agenda is, isn't necessarily the right one either.
So just like Charles Xavier.
He used to kill everybody.
I'm just saying.
He killed Cassandra Nova, and she's a weird alien, and did that with a gun.
Charles Xavier killed a lot more than Cassandra Nova.
Oh yeah, he has. Oh boy.
Speaking of which, there's like an old ad from an X-Men that's unrelated to what we're talking about, but there's an old ad in a comic for like a joke ad for Xavier promoting some kind of headache pills. And it's like a little thing at the bottom that says like, as the world's strongest mental, like I can't have a headache. And it shows him like holding his head and then the other mutants like going like this. But it's like, it makes you really laugh because of like Logan. Because like, literally it's like when he has a headache.
Where's my pills? Where's my pills?
Yeah. If only I had my headache pills, I wouldn't have accidentally murdered the X-Men because of my dementia.
I'm trying not to let my biases speak.
It's hard,
here, but I got to give the point to Andre. But
man,
not only did he answered the question properly when I said who's better. He says Storm, and I kind of almost have to fact check your rebuttal to that, Jaemeel, because you said she fell apart when she didn't have her powers.
I didn't
And
know.
like-
I didn't say that.
No,
I
well,
said she
that-
fell apart. Andre even
Yeah,
said that.
True. Okay, well, that's not true. When she lost her powers, she beat Cyclops in a fight for leadership of the X-Men.
Oh, even better.
Correct.
So see, exactly. So it's like it was kind of the right choice that you said. If you would have been like, "Well, Cable of X-Force," I would have been like,
Cable.
Nah,
Or like,
Awful.
I,
Or
mean,
like-
I know how Devin feels about Storm, but I also agree. Like she's a great character, and I think
She is a great character.
she's a great leader of the X-Men when the
And I didn't think Andre would go that hard on Cyclops, but he did because I know Andre loves Cyclops, and he's just like he's a loser. He falls apart anytime the chips are down. Like,
but
it was
honestly,
pretty convincing.
That's
It
kind
was
of.
pretty
But I
convincing.
just use the parts I like and went the other way. But the idea of like him being a flawed character, I find make him a more interesting
better character.
Yes, whether I think he's the best leader of the X-Men, that's another.
Storm
thing.
is the best leader of the X-Men.
Yeah.
That's why they made her the Queen of Mars.
Yeah, and Queen of Wakanda for a little while.
Yeah. Sure as hell isn't Charles Xavier.
All right, am I up?
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Absolutely isn't Charles Xavier.
Yeah, 100% not.
So Andre's running away with it here, but
Yep.
lots of
Chucky.
game left. Lots of game left. Okay. So Andre's next
this
one
is
here.
gonna be a fun one.
Ooh.
I
All
don't
right.
know who he's. I don't know. I don't want to play with this one.
Be it resolved that Gambit should remain dead in X-Men 97 and not be resurrected. Davin, you should be. I know. I want this to go. I want this to be normal. Davin, you can go. Bring him back. Jaemeel, you can go. Yes, stay dead.
So I'm 4.
You're 4. Okay, go.
Okay. Start. There used to be an old rule in Marvel that was very important as an editorial mandate, especially I think it was in like 93, which is dead is dead. Right? It shows the consequences of actions and for stories to complete their natural progression. Bringing back characters lessens the impact of them being gone in the first place. Gambit is a character with a long history, and that history is not lessened with it ending.
Good point. Davin, your rebuttal.
The rule was dead is dead unless your Uncle Ben or Bucky, and both of them came back.
Really? Oh,
In some form.
yeah.
But
Stacy.
But no, Gambit should not stay dead. Does bringing a character back lessen the story of their death? I mean, it doesn't have to. If it does for you a little, then fine. But if it gives us 10, 20, even 5, maybe 50 good stories with that character after that, I think that one little bit lessened experience is worth it.
All right. Open
That's the
debate.
open. Now, do you think that in X-Men 97, Gambit was fridged?
No, because this is great storytelling. I mean, is it for that would suggest that it's entirely for Rogue's character development? No, I don't. It's more for setting up the next.
I
the
think it's
Horsemen of Death
also for
thing in the next
Gambit's
season.
character development and the conclusion of his story.
Yeah, it was a great
Right?
character, heroic.
It's a great
moment
character
for that
moment.
character.
I don't want that to be lessened, right?
It doesn't have to.
I think
It doesn't lessen his sacrifice. He didn't know while sacrificing himself that he would be brought back.
Once you
as
know
a
that you can
Horseman of
sacrifice and be
Apocalypse.
brought back, right?
It's called being an
Doesn't the
X-Man.
next- Then doesn't the next sacrifice kind of be cheapened? It's like I'll be right back. You know,
Well, has
Just hold on a second.
the Krakoan era screwed X-Men comics over for like ever? Like
Yes.
the death still
Yes.
meant something.
So, yes.
No.
I'm answering
No,
your question.
it
Yes.
hasn't.
Thank you. Yes.
The death still meant something during the Krakoan era, and they
think I'd
shouldn't
like to-
have.
I
They
think
still
I'd like
had
to-
meaning.
I think I'd like to request another 30 seconds, please. Or is it 60, whatever you the extra time?
It's extra 30. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it did lessen. It did lessen. Because what did we see? We saw a lot of missions, right? That involved suicide missions.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That cheapens the idea of a
didn't for me.
sacrifice.
It didn't for me. That issue.
Well, Davin,
where
you are a
Cyclops-
special summer
when,
child.
When Wolverine and Nightcrawler are
unfortunately-
standing there and they're reminiscing over their friendship and how like they still have to experience the pain. They still have to live with the memories of
But you
dying.
can do that
It adds a
without
different
having
element
to
of the
die.
weight. It's like now
You
these
can
X-Men characters know
You
what
can
it's like
do
to die.
There's more to sacrifice than your life, and just going
Exactly.
automatically,
So
just
if your
going
life comes back-
automatically to your life, right? As the common trope that you're going to use for your storytelling, that means that you're providing a weak story.
Davin, man, I want to give it to you, but I am going to give it to Jaemeel. But you argued it very well. I do agree with Jaemeel. Death does need to have, and I know
striking out tonight.
I know they're not going to keep him dead. I know they're not.
I know,
but his death was so perfect, and I think he's right. I think death needs to mean something, especially in those shows.
Which is why you never put your main characters in that kind of situation.
Yeah,
unless you're willing to live with the consequences.
I think it's perfect how they're doing it. We got that great moment, and then we'll get this crazy Horseman of Apocalypse stuff, and then we'll get a nice reunification with him and Rogue. That'll be beautiful. Bring a tear to our eye. It'll all be great.
Yeah. Well, sorry, man. I want to give you a point because that was a great argument. But
it was a great argument. I agree.
Jaemeel just pulled a little ahead for me.
All right. Well,
alrighty, next one.
Bring it on, Jaemeel.
All right, be it resolved. We're still on the X-Men. Oh no, sorry. Be it resolved. Kitty Pryde is the best audience surrogate ever in X Comics. Davin for, Andre against.
Okay.
I was gonna make Jaemeel argue this against for Jubilee or something. So I'm glad where I'm at here. All right. Kitty Pryde is not only the best audience surrogate in the history of X-Men comics, perhaps even comics themselves. She is one of the few characters that we've really seen grow. But as far as the audience surrogate part in her early storytelling, she was a 15-year-old girl, goes to this school. It's just like anyone going off to high school for the first time, which a lot of people, or even junior high or even elementary school people reading these books. It was such a relatable experience for everyone reading the book. And it's when Xavier's was more of a school, and it's not like what it became when, anyway.
Andre?
Oh, wait, okay. Yeah, it's so relatable. I remember that time that I had a pet dragon and I had sex with the Metal Man, and that time that I got welded to a giant bullet that shot through the earth and went off into space, and then I became the director of Brand, and then I became Star-Lord somehow. I remember all those relatable things that happened to me and the people around me in the general term. Now, Jubilee is obviously the one you should have standing in. She's fantastic. The worst thing that happened to her was she became a vampire, and she got better. But Kitty Pryde is
she is a dragon baby, not just a pet dragon.
Far from being a normal person. So
I know it wasn't my time, but that was insane.
Okay. Start the open debate.
All right, open debate. She is a dragon baby, Jubilee. And all those things you mentioned, crazy stories, good stories, but they had nothing to do with the time when she was really an audience surrogate character. That faded
she's
for the
character.
An angry
kid who what is her indomitable mark besides the fact that what does she do to make us feel like that we could put ourselves in her shoes? What has she done?
Well, it was also the nature. It was also the nature of her powers as well. She didn't have this,
running through walls. That makes her relatable.
More of a defensive power, more of one that falls into the background a bit. It's at
least as a teenager, me emitting things from my body I don't want it to is more relatable with Jubilee than it is with me being able to run through walls or fall through couches or I definitely.
And not being able to touch things you want to touch. That's not relatable.
She can touch.
But she couldn't control her powers very well back in those days.
Yeah,
but it's she's a far more relatable character than Jubilee. If you're not a mall babe from certain parts of America, it's
chili fries.
She's more specific in her.
Can I get 30 seconds more because I'm enjoying this way too much.
Yeah, Jubilee's just more of a specific thing, whereas she's more of an everyday kid.
Jubilee's the kind of person I'd want to go to the mall and hang out with. I'd want to go to the arcade.
Yeah, because you think she's cool. But all these people reading these comics aren't cool. We weren't cool. I wasn't cool.
I wasn't cool. Jubilee,
I related to Kitty, who wasn't cool, but she became cool. And we did. We grew up, we became cool Kitty Pryde.
She became cool because they added all this stuff that made her not just a normal mutant. They made her a Star-Lord. They made her a space bullet person. They gave her a dragon, for fuck's sake.
Jubilee has a dragon kid!
I don't know about this. So
yes, she adopted a kid, Shogo, and he turns into a giant dragon.
She adopted. She didn't give birth to a dragon kid. That's two different worlds.
Hey, love is love.
I'm not faulting her. I'm glad she gave that dragon baby a home.
Oh, okay. Wow.
This is fun. I'm glad we're doing this. I wasn't sure about it first, but I'm happy we're doing this.
This format's fun, right? It's all about the format.
Andre, you did a very good job debating it, but I'm going to have to go with Davin.
This is a pity vote.
No,
There's
no
no
way.
way that you feel bad for.
I would be. Wouldn't I? If in my interest, wouldn't I be going for you with the Jubilee, especially when you brought
Fair
up
enough.
Jubilee?
That's why I love the judges are also the debaters.
The reason why
This
but-
format.
is the primary reason why Kitty is the better surrogate, and Davin kind of mentioned it. Kitty is such a blank slate. She's such a blank slate, and especially during the Claremont run, when you have all these wild and interesting personalities, right? As Davin was mentioning, you have her kind of going in and bouncing on. Look, Andre's like he's just disagreeing
Come
with that
on.
assessment.
You're not judging it on his argument. You're judging it.
No, that
that's
was
what he
an
said.
argument where
That's what
Jubilee
he
was
said.
this more
That's
specific
true,
thing,
that
and
is
if you're not that, it's not relatable.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
No,
that's
Like,
fine.
there's what's more relatable. There's a reason
Jubilee
that page is
is
so
a more
iconic.
interesting
Professor
character.
Xavier is a jerk. Like, there's a reason that's so
Yeah.
iconic.
Jubilee is a more interesting character, and you did bring that up. But that is the audience surrogate is supposed to be not really that
Not
interesting.
that. Yeah.
Well, she shoots. I said the body shooting out of. That's
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is
I'm not
that,
gonna
that was a
argue.
good point. As soon as you made that point, I was like, uh-oh.
yeah.
Davin had a strong argument. I'm happy that he got
Yes. And
Okay.
some fact checking. Jubilee was also the leader of the new Warriors, right? Was
She
a
led the
vampire.
New Warriors?
She led the new
And
Warriors.
I love the New Warriors. They're like the 90th team ever.
Yeah.
Man.
When she lost her powers, she had a super suit and she led the new Warriors as Wondra.
Oh, that's crazy. I
Yeah,
missed that.
Wondra. I forgot about that. Oh yeah,
Missed that.
I know my Jubilee history.
I talked to a guy
almost
on my
wanna-
podcast passed recently that worked on a little bit of the New Warriors, and I told him how they were such a big thing for me when I was a kid. They're like the 90th, the coolest. Here's this new 90s team that you can get into team.
Just on a little sidetrack, doesn't the new Warriors feel like the MCU like just ripe for the MCU, taking
Yeah.
like some property?
Well, they had it. The show was in the works, right?
Yeah.
Really?
They had
Would
it
have been-
casted.
would have
They
been
filmed the
Night
pilot.
Thrash-
Yeah.
Would have been Night Thrasher and Amarita and all those people.
No, it had like Squirrel Girl. It was that team.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I would love to get my hands on that pilot.
I liked
Me too.
I liked when Ben Riley Scarlet Spider joined them. I was very happy about that.
That seemed appropriate.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Davin.
All right. I kind of want to do the fourth one now instead. I have my backup question. I kind of want to give you that one.
So the backup's just we want to use it.
No, well, you can if you want, but it's just there in case of ties.
Switch it. You can switch it if you want to.
Because I kind of do want to ask the one that I have. What's my last one?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll just write it up.
Let's see. Let's see where it goes. Whenever it's my turn, I'll
What
figure
do
it
I
out.
want to give you?
We can briefly talk about it at the end if necessary.
No, I'm not going to do it. We'll save it. All right. So, be it resolved.
I do wanna ask-
the MCU X-Men reboot will be a disappointment compared to X-Men '97. Live action reboot, obviously.
Oh,
I'm
no.
referring to.
It's
You have
gonna
a
be tough
debate
one.
within yourself as to who
Yeah,
you're going to
this
assign
is
it
gonna be
to.
this is gonna be a tough one.
Andre, you're going to be for this one. Jaemeel against.
So I believe that the MCU version of X-Men will be disappointment compared to X-Men '97.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, listen. We all know about nostalgia, and we all know about the worlds we build in our little heads. So after watching X-Men, the original series, we all built up the story in our head about how great the series was. The nostalgia carried it through. Dav and I rewatched it and discovered it is almost as good as we remember. It's pretty fantastic. And we all wanted to see these things in our head. We all built this thing in our head of what the perfect story would be. And X-Men '97 came, and almost as though it read our minds, did it. They took all the best parts of all the best comics, melted them together in a beautiful way, and made it relevant to what's going on in our society today, and bridged the gap from the past to now.
Okay. Rebuttal.
I'm sorry for the rude awakening that a lot of X-Men '97 fans are going to have.
Oh, he's going anti.
Oh, boy.
But X-Men '97, let's see come season 2. I don't think people are going to even like it. All the Kingmaker is gone, right? There is no king in the castle, and it's going to fall on the wayside. The X-Men reboot is where all of the energy has been pushed towards, and that's where you're going to see all the effort. X-Men '97 did its job, and it's going to falter on the second season.
This is going to be a big one. Open debate.
Oh,
No, there's no way. I mean, X-Men '97 was so well done, and the creative team that did the first season did the second season too. So it's going to be equally as good for the second. I don't know about the third, but the second.
You haven't seen the reports about how season 2 has been delayed to 2026, and they're rewriting all of season 2.
Fans think that if something gets reshoots or gets sent back, that it's going to be bad. Almost every single Marvel movie, including the Avengers, went back for reshoots and delayed time and had to do other things. That doesn't mean it's going to be bad. The end result could be just as good.
We've seen that reshoots have, and name a reshoot in MCU that's actually turned out well.
The Avengers had them. They did reshoots for that.
What did they reshoot?
I don't know. I can't pick every finger scene, but they went back for reshoot. That's how big movies work. See, you can't promise anything about the Marvel universe in the cinematic universe because we know nothing about it. You literally know nothing about it. There's nothing you can say.
We have the elements already seen already.
What?
I think we need more time.
30 seconds more, yeah.
Like Ms. Marvel, that's the element we've seen in Charles Xavier in another universe. We haven't seen nothing from what they're going to do with Beast. Beast looked awesome and was great. Kelsey Grammer's voice was fantastic.
He was
fantastic. But
X-Men '97
is because he's reminiscent of the X-Men '97 Beast, which we love.
X-Men '97 has gone through massive reshoots, not even reshoots, sorry, rewriting of the story.
I've heard nothing positive about the Marvel universe to come. All I've heard is that you shitting on X-Men '97. What do you think is going to be good about the Marvel Cinematic Universe? You've said nothing about that.
Because they have a clean slate. They have a clean slate. In addition, they're able to direct it where all the things that we really want to see with X-Men are going to come to pass. Deadpool
said it well himself. He said that welcome to the Marvel universe. You're joining us at kind of a low point. So this is what the point the X-Men's going to come into. I don't think it's going to work
anywhere
out as well
but up. It's going to go up. You're even saying it yourself. Look, the fantastic thing about what's going to happen with X-Men is you're going to see it interact with a larger world, which unfortunately X-Men '97 is not really going to give us.
Oh, absolutely.
X-Men '97,
we saw the Hulk, we saw Spider-Man.
No, we saw cameos. We saw cameos. We saw them for 30 seconds.
It's called X-Men. They can't have a whole Captain America episode.
X-Men is in a world that hates and fears them, right?
Yes.
And seeing that in a larger Marvel universe where for the most part all the heroes have been well respected and liked, you're going to see the contrast on screen.
Civil War?
Even in Civil War.
They were not all loved and respected. Half of them were chained up by the government. By the public.
We have yet to see people really, really show their hatred.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., when they introduced the Inhumans, all of them were treated really shitty by humanity. They all hated them and feared them. They were a perfect
sorry. Please give me an example of any type of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. References in the MCU past
they're a parallel
Age of Ultron.
The same as
Age of Ultron.
The same
past
as
Age of Ultron. No, they exist in a different reality, not in the Prime 616.
A parallel universe. Then that's all the X-Men do in that universe so far, anyway.
This is great. I'm just letting you guys go.
They actually interact with the 616.
We do this all day.
All right. I was also letting you guys go because there's a baby crying here in the background.
I didn't hear the baby.
It's a little bit shenanigans because he won it in the run-on time, but Jaemeel, you got it there in sort of the run-on time. That was a crazy good debate, though.
Andre's like, what? No, I disagree.
Well,
the big what it was. Well, Andre, you actually challenged him with the question, and his answer was actually pretty good.
That's a clean slate.
Well, you said you haven't said anything positive about the MCU. What's going to be good about it? And then he kind of had a bunch of good stuff.
But there were a bunch of things that were blank slates that a lot of people disliked.
It was a tough debate. It was a very tough debate.
I can't believe you voted against that. You love X-Men '97.
I'm just going by the debates. I don't let my feelings, because if I was just gonna, I have an opinion on all these coming in. I can't let that
Andre,
have anything to do with it.
I don't think that X-Men '97 is going to be bad. I don't believe.
I know.
I don't believe that. I also do believe that I have high hopes for the X-Men reboot.
I so do I. Very much so.
Because
I do
it's
too.
been
Deadpool Wolverine was fan-fucking-tastic.
Not even with Deadpool Wolverine. The X-Men universe has been bogged down by this Fox timeline for so long.
Agreed.
Fox Morrison timeline. Yep.
It's that even with First Class, where it's like, oh, this is new, and then immediately they shoehorn it back into that universe and all its baggage.
Yeah.
I don't like Days of Future Past.
Now the timeline, it's funny. Somebody put out this thing that shows the timeline where like it goes to this movie and then the arrow goes to that movie and then goes back to that movie, and it's like, just every time they got to get to that, it gets a little. I know Marvel's kind of doing it with whatever they're doing with story, like parallel universe and stuff now, but at least it seems like we have enough time with all these movies to make it make sense. But yeah. No, I see what you're saying.
So.
It's mine.
Andre,
nope.
you're next.
It's
No,
Andre's
next one.
So I have to use if I want to use. I don't think we're gonna have a tiebreaker here.
You want to use the other one? You can. Yeah.
I do really want to use my other one.
Use your other one.
I'll write it up.
Okay. Oh wait, I didn't tell you what my other one was, did I?
No, so just tell it to me.
Oh, all right. So be it resolved that Wolverine doesn't need to be comic accurate height in the Marvel Cinematic
Jesus,
live
son
action
of a
Marvel
bitch.
Cinematic.
You know
Universe.
he's gonna put you against
I know what's happening here. Doesn't need to be
comic accurate height in a
accurate
live action actor in a live action role. All right, Jaemeel, I'm going to have you go. He doesn't need to be comic accurate height. I'm not going to go for the comedy. I want an actual debate because I've been arguing with Davin about this forever, and I want to hear him argue with someone else about it. So, Davin, you go negative. You think he needs to be comic accurate height, Jaemeel?
Of course.
He needs to be comic accurate height.
Of course you do, Davin.
Let's go. Go for it, Jaemeel.
Wait, you have to go.
You're up first.
No, you're saying he doesn't need to be comic accurate height. It's very start the timer. Don't make him.
I will.
Oh,
yeah, you're saying
he doesn't. So you're
Oh.
He
four.
doesn't need to be.
okay,
comic
4. Sorry. Did you start it?
Start it again.
Okay. Wolverine is a character with various characteristics that are very important to how he's depicted. His height is not one of the main factors, especially to the extent of what it was initially mentioned in the comic books. Being 5'3" isn't as important to where the character is. It's what it's supposed to symbolize, which is he's of a lesser stature in height to the other characters, not that he's that specific height.
Oh,
That was the end of the sentence.
all right. Go ahead, Devin.
Why doesn't Captain America wear like a Spanish flag? Why doesn't Iron Man wear like spandex instead? Wolverine is comic book characters are called things for a reason. Iron Man's called Iron Man because he wore iron. Wolverine is called Wolverine because he's tiny and ferocious like a wolverine. A wolverine is like the smallest animal in the world that you definitely don't want to mess with. It was perfect. You make the character less elegant if you remove that.
Okay, so if he's 5'3", we can just call him Honey Badger, right?
We have a honey badger. She's
call him
even
the honey
smaller
badger.
because they're smaller than Wolverine. So even that's
But you
elegant.
also don't want to mess with the Honey Badger, so we can change
We
the
have that
names.
character, Gabby.
Yeah, we can change the character's name. Gabby doesn't exist. We have Honey Badger, Logan, the Honey Badger, because he has to be the smallest person. He has to be 5'3".
But
He
honey
doesn't
badger's just
have
sort
to
of
be.
longer and leaner. Like
He
he's
doesn't
more
have
squat
to
and
be.
tough, more like a Wolverine. No, he doesn't have to be.
He can
but
be
it has
wider.
more to do with the character than you're letting on here. It's like his relationship with so many villains is the fact that he's small.
So let me ask you
what makes him a different character?
We're gonna have
another
a
tall
storyline
character,
where he
another
needs
tall.
to fit into a tight space, and it's like, well, thank you, you're 5'3". Otherwise, this whole plot point that we have doesn't make any sense.
It's not about
basically
that.
What you're saying.
It's about
It is-
being different. It's just like there's a million juggernauts. There's a million giant guys that
So
are intimidating
him-
because they're giants.
Cyclops being
He's
6
smaller.
foot and him being 5'6", same difference.
Cyclops isn't this character built around intimidation. Like
I'm running one more
Wolverine,
time. Let's do that. Let's keep going.
Wolverine's whole thing is that he intimidates. She's the most intimidating character in the room, even if you are sitting in the room with Juggernaut. And the irony of that is that he's this small guy, so people poke at him and they
Smaller.
underestimate him constantly.
Smaller guy.
And he's the last person you'd ever want to underestimate because he's 200 years old. He's
Because
highly
he's
trained
tough.
and he can regenerate. But
Yes, you can provide that through how the aura of the individual. He can have a lower stature and still
he
give off
becomes
that
so
aura.
much more generic if he's just another 6'3" handsome guy. Like
I never
Hugh
said
Jackman.
he has to be handsome, right? There's a difference between Jack Reacher, right, on Amazon and Jack Reacher done by Tom Cruise, right? Tom Cruise was intimidating, right? He was intimidating as Jack Reacher. Now you might prefer one version of the presentation, but he still played Jack Reacher. He was still tough. He was still intimidating.
But we're talking about the character of Wolverine.
Jack Reacher, who's supposed to be
Jack
who's
Reacher
supposed
is
to be
just another. Jack Reacher is no different than all these other like spy thriller
He's
heroes.
supposed
He's
to be
generic,
that-
He's
like
supposed to be
everybody else.
something.
His gimmick in the book is that he's huge, like he's a big muscular dude.
yes.
That's like one of his defining.
Sorry,
characters.
Devin, you weren't well versed in that. I brought
the
up
Jack
Jack Reacher. I
Reacher, the Jack
apologize.
Reacher mythos.
Yeah.
This is really tough. We don't do ties here, right?
Well, DBK, his height is very important. He's the image of society's abusive men. He's made to not fight and die, and he's the best cause we can use him again and again and again. He's not a so-called leading man. Yeah, see, that's exactly it. He's different. He's just different than other leading men characters.
Men are treated by society.
Oh, yes. Is that what that was?
It kind of seemed that way.
As someone who
men
is
have
not,
the leg up in society. Don't worry about that.
As someone who is under 5'10", right? I've heard that argument before. He's basically.
I thought he was saying like short men are looked down upon. Andre said it himself.
Yes,
like
they are sadly.
Yes.
Andre says they'll never hire. You'll never get a 5'3" Wolverine. He says to me all the time. It'll never happen. No, and to me, that's the problem.
I don't think it'll never happen. I just think, realistically looking at it, it's really tough for that to happen. But
I don't think he needs to be 5'3".
And Wolverine for like 10 movies, never felt like Wolverine. He felt like Wolverine in Wolverine and Deadpool for the first time ever. Really.
But he was.
I feel like Devin.
I know.
I just feel if he's 5'6", right, and you have him as someone who is squatting down and fighting, right, you have the element of him being shorter of stature, right? Because what are other characters standing and fighting? They're standing upright, right? Right. Where Wolverine, his line of strength is lower to the ground, right? But you don't
being
need
smaller
him.
Enhances that.
You don't need to be
pretty good
5'3".
Wolverine, and you were 6'2". Aren't you about my height?
I'm 6 feet.
Oh, okay. You were 6 feet, and you were a good Wolverine in that scripted thing we did.
Yeah, but that was just audio only.
Just placate his ego. You were a great Wolverine.
It's really tough. Actually, this is a really tough argument because I've been hearing this forever, and I kind of don't want to agree with Davin because I don't think it's important. But
I think it's important.
No, I don't.
I think it's what makes the character unique, though. Like different from so many other characters.
As much as I don't want to give Jaemeel another point, I'm going to give it to Jaemeel. But I'm sorry, Davin, because you argued well. You
did argue well.
You argued very well.
If he gave the point to you, I wouldn't have been surprised.
Yeah.
I thought I had it.
Yeah. I mean,
Was it the Jack Reacher? Please tell me it was the Jack Reacher portion.
Better not, because I just got silent for all of that because I didn't know what the fuck you guys were talking about.
Actually, the Jack Reacher point did make me think about it because I was like, those are two versions of the character that are very different, and there's still the character in different ways. So, and I mean, well, like you have a prime example, like whether we love him or not. I mean, I do, but I know David doesn't. Like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is iconically related to being Wolverine now, so much so they're going to have a real tough time recasting.
Henry Cavill, people keep saying.
I would love that, but he's also tall.
David's like, no, we went in the wrong direction.
He would be. I think he was great.
I like the guy they played short Wolverine better when you actually look at what he looked like. Take Jackman's face off.
How tall was that actor?
He was too short. He's like 4'11".
Yeah, he's at 4'11".
Oh, okay.
He's too short. He's like, damn you! I can't even play Wolverine.
Put some 4-inch lifts in his shoes, and I mean the thing is, like when you think about filming, like this has happened to me too. Like I've been on set on that show that I do background on, where there's a scene in season 2 where there's one of the group that I'm a part of. I'm standing in front. They wanted me to stand in front of a door and stop one of the characters from the show from going out of the door. So they brought me to the door. They gave me the gun. They started to explain it to me. And then they looked at how much taller I was than the actor. And they said, oh, we can't use him. Bring in another guy. So like it was literally because of my height that I couldn't do this role, which would have been a kind of a speaking role and got me way more money and been a way better thing. But I got discredited for that. And a friend of mine who I always tease got the part. But it's like because he was closer in height to the actor. But when it comes to like cameras and all that shit, they got to figure that out. And there's reasons why you don't see movies where there's like I guess you do because Peter Dinklage is in movies with other people, but you know, it's, generally there's some weird stuff with them having to make heights for cameras and match up actors and heights that you don't even think about when it comes to the filming world, but they do. Sadly, but I mean, Peter Dinklage is in movies, so
DBK wants Danzig at 25.
at 20, we're in a time travel dancing.
Yeah, we're gonna time travel dancing.
He's on stage somewhere. He's on stage somewhere singing like "Mother," and then all of a sudden a time portal opens and we just pull him in. You're Wolverine now.
We call Mr. Peabody in to get the Wayback Machine.
That's right.
Bring him forward in time.
Steal the time platform from Doctor Doom.
Yes.
All right. Well, here we go.
I'll do my third
last one.
Okay.
I have to. Here we are.
Be it resolved, X-Men 97 should focus more on new stories than adapting past ones. I'm going to have Andre against and Davin for.
So I am for they should focus more on news stories. Okay. Well, it's not even so much at this point that they should. They're going to have to. Because this has been a continuation of X-Men TAS that burned up most of this Claremont stuff and pre-Claremont stuff. And X-Men 97 Season 1 did all the Morrison stuff. There's not a lot left to take from. They can do Krakoa. They can do a couple other things. And they will. They'll dabble in some other things. But for the most part, like they're doing Age of Apocalypse to start off Season 2 or something like it. But they're going to have to go other places.
Oh man, there are so many places that there's so many amazing comic runs that haven't even touched in the things yet. And I think the X-Men 97 Season 1 has shown that they can take elements of those iconic stories, make them unique and make them their own, really show why they're great and then bring their own flair to it. I mean, we still haven't seen Age of Apocalypse. We still haven't seen Onslaught. We still haven't seen Strife. We still haven't seen like forming of X-Force. We still haven't seen
we have
Bow and Arrow. We haven't seen the Phoenix Force. We haven't seen all this amazing stuff that has come down the line.
But we have seen those things. We have seen those. Well, we haven't done open debate yet. We have seen those things in the comics, though. That's the thing. We have seen those stories.
Would you say that the Inferno storyline they used in the comic was exactly the same as what they did in the TV show?
No, it was a disappointment, which is why they should come up with new stories. No, the comic book Inferno was better.
It was. So having like weird demons running around and all that stuff is more important.
That's what I wanted from Inferno, not just like Maddie getting angry for 15 minutes. And like, how many other stories do they have to butcher? Like the Age of Apocalypse, or like the Apocalypse movie. Or the
if I recall correctly, Davin, you gave that episode a 10 when we did the show, so you obviously liked it a lot. So don't tell me you didn't. You gave it a 10, sir. And I tried to divide you against it, but you didn't. I told you those 10s would come back to haunt you. And now's the time, motherfucker. Now's the time.
Well, I've got my comeuppance, haven't I?
You can't see you don't want to see Onslaught. I mean, come on.
No, I want to see some new stories with some new characters.
That would be cool. But
can I get 30 more seconds? I want to develop
like
this.
All of the old stories, all the stories that you want to play off of. Do you want to see Kitty Pryde shot into space in a big space bullet? You mock it all the time. Is that what you want to see? Are you going to like it better the next time?
Also, all the stuff you said you loved about Cyclops, you're not going to get if we do new stories. You're not going to see him fall apart. You're not going to see him rebuild himself. You're not going to see him turn into the Phoenix.
Sure, they will, just for different reasons.
You never shut up about how much you love the Krakoan era. You don't want to see the Krakoan era done in the TV show with the
because it just ended.
And think are the best representations of the series?
No,
it
just
you
ended.
Absolutely would love that. You would love it.
In 10 years, maybe.
This is tough. I felt that both of you really brought some interesting points, and I actually this whole question, I was on the fence with myself, battling myself about what I want to see from X-Men.
Me too.
Because I do want to see new stories, but I also want to see.
It can be both. Yeah. I hope it is both. I hope it is.
Me too. I
hope we get a bit of both.
But that is not how this game works, and I have to pick one's debate.
Mm-hmm.
And
stand by your choice, sir. Oh, he's struggling.
I'm struggling deeply with this one.
All right. It's all right. We will stand by whatever you decide. Well argued, Davin. Well argued, my friend. I will drink Hatozaki Finest Blend Whiskey.
Did I just take that point?
No, I'm just saying it was a good debate.
Oh,
He's still
it
debating.
was, yeah. It was a good debate. And
I'm gonna give it to Andre.
not my night.
no,
not my
no,
night.
But
like,
some solid argument. This is like
yeah.
the point of this
that
is
was
to make
really
an
tough.
entertaining show, and this has been solid. I like this.
Because literally, if I said like 30 seconds earlier, I would have said it was you. You know,
Real roller
Davin.
coaster.
If it was like, that was a tough one. That was a tough one. Oh my gosh, yeah.
I figured you would have given it to me so we don't have to do a tiebreaker. And we still have another one.
20 years of rehashing plots and characters from the 70s and reached their plot apex in the 90s.
That's kind of
we've done
true.
all
Like,
that stuff.
I've noticed that about the Marvel. Like, if you look about the Marvel films, all the big stories they're doing are from the last 20 years. Like almost every storyline, except for like the Infinity Gauntlet, is almost everything else has been taken from the last 25 years.
Extremis and
like the Civil War, the Winter Soldier, you know, Extremis,
OZT.
Like everything.
Abnett and Lanning, Guardians run.
Yeah, exactly. It's all been the modern era because I guess storytelling got more complex and more adult, I suppose. Like, how many times can you have Thor being stuck in his human form, crying to Odin that he wants to be able to tell,
"Where's my cane?"
Yeah, where's my cane? I want to be able to tell Jane that I love her, but that I'm a god, but you won't let me.
Serenity says, in my mind, they have to build up to the newer stories. So many storylines before they can jump to Sacred Goa.
They crammed
Goa's got to be a long time before we get
You want a
there.
schism? Do you want a schism?
Yeah,
I watched Schism. I want to see the rise and fall of the Shi'ar Empire. That'd be fun.
I want to see Phantom X. I really do. I don't know if it'll
That'd be
happen, but I really-
complicated, but I'm there for it.
Well, they can just tie him into the Weapon X.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
funny
just
because there's an
explaining
old-
what he is.
I've been listening to the audiobook of Super Gods, the Grant Morrison book, where he's talking about all the characters. And Phantom X is 100% taken from this old French film series where there's a guy called Fantoma or something that was like a dude that wore a white suit and stole jewels and stuff, and he was very much where that character came from. It's even spelt the same way. Like, it's very obvious that Morrison got this from like an old French film, which is kind of cool.
I would love to see, like, let's see some Hellfire Club.
Yeah.
Like some actual Hellfire Club. I don't.
We did get that in the old series briefly.
We got an X-Men the animated series, and even that
the Inner
time,
Circle.
yeah, the inner. It's just so brief, and I think that having the Hellfire Club would be an interesting way to introduce some concepts to mutants in general, because you want to see mutants kind of woven into the MCU society. It isn't just the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
The X-Men are part of it. It's also, you know, the reaction to society and high society as an example.
I want to see them focus a little bit on like other X teams. AVX, yeah.
AVX would be way better in the MCU or X-Men 97 than it ever was in the comics, though.
You know
It
what I
could
would
make
like to
it
see
really fun
is
if it was.
I would like them to get a
Axis?
Good... No.
No, please, no.
No, what I want to see them is get a decent animated universe going, where we get the Spider-Man cartoon back, we get maybe the Avengers Mighty Heroes cat, and then we do something like that. But I would like to see
That'd
them
be
do Acts of Vengeance, where all the villains trade out
yeah.
and start fighting each other. That would be cool.
Yeah.
If they did all those series,
swapping heroes, like they fought different
if they
people.
did all of those series and had them running, and then did one mini series called like Acts of Vengeance, where they did that whole story, that would be very cool. I would very much dig that.
Well,
Makes sense. You keep losing to these people, like, trade off.
Yeah.
I guess we get my tiebreaker question after all, though. After some of the conversation we've had already, it's
all good, brother. I was going to say, I was hoping Jaemeel would pick Davin so that we would be done.
Well, here we go.
It's all good.
Okay.
Be it resolved, you're a new parent. You have a mutant child. Be it resolved, you should not send them to the Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters. Couple guys with no kids here, so it'll be interesting. I think that skews the
I have cats,
debate.
so I'll put my
That's
cat
true.
in place of my cat is power.
You have a mutant cat, Andre. Be it resolved, you should not send them to the
Lebowski, no. It's a tight one. I like your sunglasses, Jaemeel. You look very cool in your little frame.
Thank you. See, like, automatically my eyebrow pops up.
Yeah, it's good. You get the rock look immediately.
While I pontificate who I want to go forward against this one, I dropped by the Back Issues Comic-Con here in Dartmouth. There's a little Comic-Con thing they did. Dude,
What? I didn't know about this. What was this?
Yeah, well, it's mostly just long boxes, right? But that's cool. That's what I want to do anyway. So I picked up a bunch of Sienkiewicz New Mutants that I didn't have.
Beautiful.
Right. 2 issues I had already, and I bought again by accident. But so it goes. Those will be prizes for the
if we're showing off, do you remember when I was showing you how I kickstarted the Marvel Masterworks book on Kickstarter?
Yeah.
So remember I showed you the metal card they sent me in advance?
Yeah.
Well, they finally sent me the full series. So I got the full book, which is the Marvel Masterpieces.
Oh, look at that.
Disco.
One of the best Hulks ever drawn right there.
Got all the beautiful interior art. It's got stories about where all these characters came from and what he did.
I love that set.
Oh, man, it's beautiful stuff. I didn't see the Spider-Man.
Oh, I love that card, man.
It's so cool. All the backs. He shows all the art. The Emma Frost, the Psylocke, the Lokis. And he has a series that just shows all the big pieces with the sketches beside them.
Love them.
Which is really, really cool. It was a really neat book. And that's when Hobgoblin was like a demon. But it also comes with this cool little mini book, which has all the isolated art of just the heroes, of just the characters before they have.
Oh, without the backgrounds. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
Is it a coffee table book?
Yeah, it's all the Marvel Masterpieces 93 or 92 series.
Oh,
all
it was
the
a great
cards
set.
are just good.
I still have the cards here. Yeah.
I had a set of all the 92 or 90. I think it was all the 92 ones. They sold it at, look at that, Mr. Sinister. Look at that.
There's Black Widow there. Yeah, look at it.
Oh, those are awesome.
Bishop. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Beast.
I love the simplified, I miss simplified hero designs.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
And I finally got the first strong guy. So I'm a big Guido fan, so.
So,
Actually, for my birthday, some friends of mine.
Jaemeel, you're for. Andre, you're against.
Oh, okay.
ooh, I'm for.
For my birthday, a friend gave me this, which is the Death of Elektra.
Oh, yeah, I have that issue as well.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's a great one. It's a great one.
So
Cherish it.
he knows nothing about comics. He just went into a store and bought a random comic he thought I would like, and that was the one. I was like, cool.
Wow.
See?
Good choice.
It's like a
buddy.
divining rod. Just
Yeah, kind of.
immediately went to it. As everyone knows, I'm building a wall dedicated towards Jubilee. So I bought 2 slabs dedicated for this one. The first one is a crossover Generation X Gen 13.
8.5. Not bad. Not bad.
The number doesn't matter.
The grade doesn't matter.
I have all 3 of the essential, or what do they call them now? Like the big Marvel collections that are in color, like the new the old essential versions. But what do they called?
Masterworks.
Is that what they're called? The new ones?
Yeah.
Like whenever they put up these new collections that have a full series, but they're in
The
color.
omnibus or whatever.
But they're not the big thick hardcovers. It's like
But they have that's what I think it's called. The Masterworks essential.
So I got all the Generation X ones now. Which I've been,
It's a ride.
I asked for a couple of them for my birth or for Christmas a few years ago, and then they put up the third one, which I think is pretty much all of it now. And I grabbed it, so I'm very excited to read.
That middle section is gonna be rough.
I'll think about is the passion that Jaemeel had for the movie, and then let it through.
You're gonna be like, I don't see it. But what's interesting about that run is the art style change with was it? I always get his name wrong. Chris Bachalo. Bacalo. Right. From issue 1 and then jump to like issue 31, I think.
Oh, they're called Epic Collections. Sorry.
Epic Collections.
Right.
His style changes dramatically. I love his work in the first couple of issues. It's very clean. It looks like almost even like it could be painted, right? To a very like a Ramos style. Where all the characters are kind of childish and chibi. It's such a weird change in the same series with the same artist, but just years difference.
I think there might be a 4th one out now. So I think I have Generation X, Back to School, M Plague's Revenge, and The Secret of M. But I think they just put out Pride and Penance, the Larry Hamill one.
Ah, okay.
I don't think I have that one.
So is there going to be 5 volumes then? Because I think after that one is Counter X.
Well, only I think as long as they make enough money, they keep going. So,
Good little collection.
And then of course I had to get Generation X #1.
Nice.
Beautiful. Look at that Look at that glaring '90s articulated
Look at that
glowing
foil.
cover. I was
Love
thinking
that.
about those the other day. All the Superman Returns comics
Nice.
where they had all the little when Spider-Man had each Spider-Man book had the lenticulated card that was in the middle of the cover. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man number 365, Spectacular Spider-Man number 189,
And Web
Peter
of
Parker
200,
Spider-Man
maybe?
number 36, and I'm missing one more.
The Web of Spider-Man.
Web of Spider-Man number. It wasn't 100.
It's the one where he reunited with the guy that was like his manager when he was a wrestler. Yeah. And then he was working for Mysterio. Yeah, there's a part of me. I mean, obviously, there's a big part of nostalgia in all of us, but there's a part of me that really like thinks about those old series. It's like the one when they did that run where the Executioner came from, where they had sealed bags and they introduced new villains in every single comic. Yeah, and the Executioner was the one for one of the X-Men books, but Spider-Man had these really forgettable trio of guys that I don't think they've ever brought back.
Yeah,
but
number 365 was the first appearance of Spider-Man 2099.
Right.
Yes, and then
he didn't just appear in Spider-Man 2099 originally.
Sorry,
he didn't just appear in Spider-Man 2099.
No, it was a backup story, and then it led to Spider-Man 2099 number 1. Those books were my introduction, really, to Spider-Man comic books proper.
They're fun. I'm rereading them now on the comic app. Just Spider-Man 2099. It's really fun.
Yeah,
it's a good little read. I'm digging it.
365 also started the storyline of Spider-Man's parents returning.
Yes, life theft.
And I'll tell you, I love the hell out of that series.
Me too. When he realizes what happened and he like loses it and goes for Chameleon, trying to like rip it apart, it was really good. It's like one of those few moments you see Spider-Man really lose it. Hey, Buddy might be onto something. Glenn Danzig is 5'3", so
he did his research.
I've seen that proposed on the internets, actually.
Yeah, Wizard Guide to Comic Books had that.
But again, he's like old now.
He's 69 years old right now.
Yeah. He's aged out for a little bit.
Yeah.
Old Man Logan starring Glenn Danzig.
I do think the guy from Reacher, the new series, would be a great Sabretooth, though. They should definitely cast him as that.
All right.
You
should not send your child to School for Gifted Youngsters, Jaemeel.
Okay.
Shit.
Oh yeah, it's on. It's the worst thing you could possibly do. You do not want, as we've seen countless times, Xavier is not the best place to have your child to be an adjusted member of society. You do not want your child to become a child soldier, right? There are other places where you can send your child where they can get a proper education and be taken care of safely by more well-adjusted individuals where it's safer for them in general.
Yeah.
Rebuttal.
I think if reality television has taught us anything, it's that we live vicariously through our children and want to make money off them. And the best way to do that is to send them to Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters. There they'll be given a costume, they'll be taught how to be a superhero. Sure, they might die, but I'm sure they have a benefit program or at least some kind of insurance that will come back to you. But if Honey Boo Boo's mom can put her onto that show for as long as she did, you can put your kid into X-Men School Gifted to make some money, get some notoriety. And the best thing you can do to set up your child's future is make them a celebrity because I don't have to worry about money.
Oh, that's totally not the angle I thought you were going to take. All right. It's like, I don't know where he's going to go with this. Nope. All right.
I feel
okay. Andre, in all of your points, I'm going to take them at face value and say I agree, which is why you should not send them to Xavier School of Gifted Youngsters. You should have them be an Avenger or a Fantastic Four, where they will get a costume, become celebrities, and actually make money.
But as Davin has stated, mutants and mutates are very different, and they won't be let into your fancy world.
Oh, I disagree, because mutants and mutates have been a part of the Avengers.
I agree, but Davin has set the precedent that they are different, and that
they are different. Doesn't mean that you can't be a member. Beast was a member.
Fair
right?
enough.
Crystal was an Inhuman, and she was in Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Wolverine was a Fantastic Four member and an Avenger, and made money.
The best narrative for reality television, for any kind of fiction story that you want to form a narrative around your child, is that they're fighting back against a society that is against.
So they can
That's
become
what
a
you're
new
like-
mutant. New warrior. Then reality show Legends, New Warriors.
How well did that end for them?
They were still notarized.
They got blown up. It caused a civil war.
They blew up big time. Hey,
They got blown up by a D-list villain of all things.
Hey man,
Nitro.
that D-list villain has quite a track record. He also killed Captain Marvel, the original.
Nitro did?
Yeah, you got cancer.
I thought Cancer did that.
Marvel got cancer from fighting Nitro.
Oh. Nitro gives you cancer too? So all the New Warriors have cancer?
Well, they're dead.
Well, they're dead. The fucking cares?
Speedball survived, right?
Their
Speedball
corpses have
survived.
cancer. Actually, a bunch of them have come back since.
Yeah, they have.
But Speedball was initially the one that survived.
Because he was
Yeah, I
penance.
think
Man, what a dumb storyline that was.
Oh boy.
Remember they made him like the most emo supervillain ever who has to hurt himself. To
So
activate
like,
his powers.
hey, you know
Oh,
what the
boy.
best thing to do? Let's rip off a storyline from Generation X. That made no sense.
It's
made
like
no
let's
sense.
it's almost like an experiment where they're like, let's take the most happy-go-lucky, friendly character and make him the most tortured, pained, emo character you possibly can. You know what he was? You know, I host a film night at a bar.
It's like
here
Scarlet Spider.
in the Spider-Verse movie, yes. But now that
comics
he's Chasm, yeah, he kind of is like that. But I host a movie night at a local bar, and last night we showed The Crow, the '90s movie, which I'd never seen before. No, I watched it last night. It was.
Gosh.
You've
It
never
was
seen The
something.
Crow before?
I have now. It's oddly charming, but
But it's a
very
product of its time.
but very easily to be cheesy, and by far the most emo fucking movie I've ever seen in my time. Even the villains are
I've
dressed
ever
like
made.
the villain is dressed like Lestat from fucking an Anne Rice novel. Like all of them are just like it was very interesting. I liked it. It was fun. I didn't realize how funny he was. He's always cracking jokes, and at one point they're shooting at him, and he escapes by doing this, where he runs away.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Which making like
But beautiful.
remaking The Crow.
The cinematography in that movie is fucking gorgeous. There's a scene where he's running up the middle of a church, and all the pews are skewed, and it's just beautiful. Like you could take so many frames from that and hang them on a wall. It's beautifully shot.
You watch that
Cinematography-
movie, Andre. You watch that movie, and then you watch Daredevil, the Ben Affleck Daredevil,
Yeah,
and
very
you're
similar.
like, why? Like this was made then. Why couldn't you have that? Even that kind of tone.
That
right?
movie
It
tried
was
so
CGI.
hard to be that, though. Like they even
But it
did
was
the scene
just
where he had the
CGI.
DD
It
hit
was
the
just
DD flame on the ground, which is right out of The Crow. They had all the iconography of on the churches and him like sitting around the crosses and all that. I know it's from the Guardian Devil storyline, but it's still like they could try it. You can see they tried very hard.
they
to do
tried,
that
but all the CG just made it really just like The Crow at least felt practical, like there was weight
although
to things happening.
Actually, the Crow soundtrack was awesome, but the Daredevil soundtrack actually was pretty awesome too. But it's funny because I was sitting there watching the movie, and he's like running across these rooftops, and they're playing "Dead Souls" by Nine Inch Nails, and I was like, "This is my favorite Nine Inch Nails song." Well, fun.
You went. I mean, I totally respect how you went off the board with that one, Andre. But it didn't quite land.
I
against
thought you would
Neil
give
Zegna.
us. I thought you'd give us another 30 seconds, and I bring it around. It's all
I didn't need it. Like you went off the board. I didn't think you were going to come back around. I thought you were
Andre,
going
I
to
did
go
not
with the
expect
you
you were
know
gonna go
send
that
them
way.
to where they'll be around people who will love them and understand them and all this shit. You didn't bother with any of that shit. You're like exploit the shit out of your children, make money. I'm like
because they're
what?
obviously going to get blown up and die. I remember seeing a meme somewhere where it was like a parent watching a TV, and at the bottom it said like when you send your child to Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, hoping for a brighter future, and then just see them on the news. Just see them on the news get turned into a pink mist while wearing a blue and yellow outfit, and I just laughed so fucking hard. It's like. You're like little Jimmy will get to excel in a world that will accept him, and then you just see him dressed in a ridiculous outfit getting murdered on the news. It just made me laugh so hard.
I'll just be
know
chilling
how
in
to
Avengers
use their
Tower,
powers.
man. Avengers Tower, Avengers Mansion. Just chill there. Right? It's like,
No.
hey, is Wanda here? No, Wanda's here? Okay, I'm good. Like, moment Wanda comes back is like, I think it's time for me to go on a vacation. I'll be back in like about 3 months. Hopefully you're assembled again at that point.
Well, good job,
I
Jameel.
well, the thing is, they couldn't. Yes, they wouldn't have been in the Avengers unless they were in the X-Men first. There's no, I don't think there's any mutants that were in the Avengers that weren't first part of an X-book.
Quicksilver, technically.
He was a villain in X-Men for a while, but he would.
But it was not like an X-Man, technically.
I thought he was part of X Factor for a while.
He was on X Factor.
Was he an X Factor first before becoming an Avenger? I thought he was an Avenger first, then he went to X Factor.
Avenger first. He was on the Brotherhood of Mutants.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just following your stipulation. You said X-Men, then Avenger.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Was there any other mutants? Beast was afterwards. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, Rogue was like they do with the Uncanny Avengers now. There's been a couple.
I know,
of that,
but
so
I'm
there's
trying to
all
think of a
kinds
mutant.
mutants
I should go back and reread that, the Rick Remender series. Yeah. I remember liking parts of it, but then they got really bogged down in like trying to get to this future they built. It's like we got to get from our narrative here to the future we showed you a few times. Although
was that Hickman's run? That was Hickman's.
No, it was Rick Remender.
It was
when he was doing
Remender.
Uncanny X-Force or whatever.
But it wasn't
Uncanny
like
was
to
amazing.
Hickman's future.
When Red Skull like took Charles Xavier's
Yes,
brain.
I like the idea of Havoc being in a different role. I did like the idea of that team.
Yeah, I liked. I feel like now that I've got this Marvel app, I just got to find some more time to like go through and read a lot of these things. I never get a chance.
How do you feel that? How do you feel with that?
I love it. It's great. I just can look up any old X-Men or any old Marvel comic at all, and even like up to like I think 3 weeks ago, anything from like 3 weeks ago to the beginning of Marvel, and pretty much read the entire run of something if I want to. Like I have the trades for Spider-Man 2099, but I was like, well, I like to read trying to fall asleep, and my wife doesn't like lights on, so I can do it on my tablet now. And I can read through a few issues before I fall asleep, and it's a nice way to kind of. So I'm going through 2099 right now. It's pretty fun. I mean, it's not as great as like. It's good, but the writing is hampered from the fact it was made in the 90s. But it's still really fun.
Give Peter David another crack at it. Make an animated series. Have Peter David do it again.
That would be fucking awesome. I would love, like, because I like the Spider-Verse movies, and I like all of them. I just don't feel like that 2099 Spider-Man that's the villain in the second one is Spider-Man 29. Obviously, it's parallel universes, so he's one from another universe. That's fine. Yeah. But he's not the Gabriel or the Miguel O'Hara.
O'Hara. Yeah. I agree. It's just that's one thing I don't like about the
I like that
Spider-Verse stuff.
I kind of like that he's huge. I didn't think I would like that, but it's like as somebody once worded it that like he doesn't actually stick to walls. He has spikes in his hands.
Yeah, he does.
That make him stick to walls. So like because of that, you need the strength to pull yourself up. And I was like, I think that's kind of cool. Like it's a nice reason as to get there.
Yeah. Yep. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. Congratulations, Jaemeel. Your prize is in the mail.
Way to go, Jaemeel.
I already got my prize.
Our friendship? It's our friendship, right?
I already got my prize.
That's a good one. That's true.
I thought it would be our friendship.
Friendship
first appearance
is...
of Abscissa instead.
Yes.
All right. Well, this probably won't be our last X Debated because that was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Probably do it again.
I like they didn't have to watch a TV show or do a lot of prep or watch an entire movie to prepare for this episode, which is
well, you will next week because next week we're going to start X-Men Evolution. So join us for that.
Not a fan, Jaemeel?
Not a fan. Not a fan. Davin, Andre, how can people interact with you? Because I hear that some people like to interact with the X-Goons. Where can they do that?
Well, so they can support the show at Patreon. Well, you know what? I don't know. I got to rework the Patreon. Jaemeel does, but like now that it was real merch oriented, and now we have this Redbubble where you can go get all our merch. So I don't know. I got to find something else to do with the Patreon there for you X-Goons.
But there's a chat group there that people can interact with you and ask questions.
Oh, that's cool.
That's true. Absolutely. That's true. That is in there.
Maybe we should make it like an OnlyFans style thing where they get some extra content from.
Well, Andre already owns a unitard.
I do.
So,
I mean, they're called singlets. You Philistine, but.
Official wrestling gear.
That's right. It's a butcher style singlet. Thank you. Yes. A one strap butcher style singlet.
Speaking of which, I need to buy a shirt of yours.
I wanted to send you one.
I don't.
That
have
can be your prize.
No, he wants one of my wrestling ones.
One of the
Oh.
wrestling ones.
Yeah, I don't have any
Old
that
school
aren't
strong.
child sizes right now, but I'm going to get more done soon. So mine are yellow right now with that logo that I have of me lifting the guy. I'm probably going to do it on a different color, but it'll be the same shirt. So I'll.
I like colors.
Yeah, you like purple? It was a dark purple on a light purple.
I'm wearing dark purple right now. I'm wearing an
Perfect.
Asuka shirt.
Purple's my favorite color. Oh, that is awesome.
Purple's my favorite color too.
You know what's funny? I just saw the word fear, and I thought it was a Fear Agent shirt, the Rick Remender series for Image, which is a great comic.
I'm
can
reading
follow us
She-Hulk
on-
right now as well.
Ooh,
Oh, She-Hulk's great.
the new one. I've heard that's really good.
Yeah, it got canceled.
Oh,
In
She-Hulk
typical
always
She-Hulk
does.
fashion.
all the good ones do, man.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm actually really enjoying it, so I'm kind of sad.
That really sucks.
Yeah, follow
Yeah, follow
on
us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Find our audio-only version wherever you get your podcasts. And please like, review, and subscribe. You know, give us some reviews. That'd be fun. And, of course, we are a member of the United Federation of Podcasts, which you can find at ufpodcast.com or, you know, on the social medias. You know, the best way to talk to us is probably just hit me up on Facebook. It's the easiest way.
Not on X. Get off that garbage.
I've never been on there. I was never.
As I was told, because I sent Davin something up from X, and he's like, "I already got this on Facebook. Get off that garbage."
Get off that
exact
garbage.
quote.
Yeah, get off that garbage.
exact quote. Get off that garbage.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Exactly.
It's a good point. It's a good point, Davin. It's a good point.
Yeah, I thought I was making it. It's the most I know about current technology world. So, you know,
X
people
is
don't
pretty
like
garbage.
Twitter anymore. Good enough.
Yeah.
Get off.
Get
that
on
garbage.
Threads,
I'm
folks.
out. I'm out.
Threads is fine enough.
I just love that Geordie LaForge meme where it's just like dead naming people, and he's like, and they're like dead naming Twitter, and he's like.
Yeah,
All right,
my
let's get it.
buddy.
Oh.
All right, let's get it here. That's
No,
all
go
right.
ahead. Finish your story.
My buddy's getting a Tesla, and he was telling me about it today, and I was like, and then he was like, you know, how much should you hold the product against the CEO? You know, trying to go green, all that stuff, because like as far as he was telling, like the product is pretty great, and I was like, I don't know. I said, I get what you're saying, but I still think the guy's a tool, so it's hard. It's hard. You got to find some common ground.
That's the unfortunate part when a terrible person's in charge of something that you kind of have to use. Like, I live in Ontario, and currently the guy in charge, Doug Ford, is the runny shits. So,
Yeah.
Oh, what? I mean, his family is such a great track record in front of him.
yes,
I mean, how could this happen?
yes. But I won't
Catch
make
you
it
next
political.
time.
Next time.
Oh my.
Are we out?
Nope.
Not yet.
Here we go.